Hey guys, it's Joe of WagerTalk.com. Are you guys going to come over to WagerTalk on July 4th? Well, you really should. You're likely aware that we'll be offering every daily pick package for only $9 Friday to Monday. But did you also know on July 4th only, we will have a great special 7-day all access packages for just $76 for the week. That is less than $11 a day, you guys. So make sure on July 4th, you head over to wagertalk.com and get this deal. 1 week of picks for just $76.
Welcome in, guys. Welcome back to WagerTalk TV for another episode of PuckTime. I'm Andrew McGinnis, joined by Carmine Bianco and Lawrence Presman. I'm excited for so many different reasons, but one of the main reasons I'm excited today, since I've officially made the decision to make the road trip from the far East Coast to Montreal for this weekend. So I'm really excited about that. I'll be in Montreal, in or outside the building. That is to be determined. Hoping to get in the building, but if not, still be really fun to be a part of the atmosphere. Before I start the show, I know everyone's going to get a good kick out of this, and it's kind of strange, but I feel like I might as well mention it because I think it's kind of funny, and I know Prez will get a good laugh out of this. I had a dream last night. I knew I had these two guys on Puck Time with me today. I guess I had, the show on my mind. I had a dream that I went golfing with Prez and Carm, and it was absolutely hilarious. Goes to show what's on my mind. Always thinking about my coworkers and my buddies in work. So I'm curious to see what these guys have to say about that. But looking forward to the show, guys. Montreal is obviously in bounce back mode. You can see the logo behind me. I'm obviously a fan, but I do not bet with my heart. Was definitely not on them in game one. It was not a good bet on spot. And I think that, they kind of got caught up in the limelight a little bit. So Carmine, I'll welcome you in for what that intro is worth. And I'll ask you, how would it go if we golf together?
I would say that you and Prez, I'm not sure how good a golfer you are, but you and Prez would beat me. I used to be pretty good, but back injury, and I just don't play enough. I'm going to get out now. But I put together a pretty good golf team for if we all get together in Vegas, a Wager Talk golf tournament. Bobby Liggs, Bobby Liggs, John Ryan, and Nick Borman will be on my team. I'm going to stack my team, and I'll just manage the scorecard and the beer cart. That's pretty much it. But as far as that game one, Andrew, it went over the total, which I like that, and I did have a Tampa Bay in regulation time in that game. The final score probably isn't as indicative of how the game went. I thought Montreal played good during spurts of the game, but Tampa was really physical in that game. And if you saw the Montreal series before I go to Prez, if you saw the previous Montreal series, Montreal gave it to players after the whistles. Tampa Bay did that to Montreal after every whistle in front of Carey Price, gloves to the face, a little chip here, a little chip there. They got under Montreal's skin and then also scored on a power play to snap that streak of that Montreal had going of no power play goals. I think it was like a 30 plus. So they got a very good job there. Let's see if they can replicate it tonight. Prez, how you doing, my friend?
What's up, Prez?
Oh, Carm, it is a privilege to be here, guys. A Jew, Italian, and a white guy go golfing. I don't have a joke.
Who picks up the
That
tab?
is the
That's
joke.
it. That's what you're gonna say, right?
Yeah.
Who picks up we all know who picks up the tab on that one. Anyway, listen, here we want to talk about the last game, and I'll kind of lead into this game. I had a 5% play up on Tampa Bay in regulation last game, and my analysis was there for everyone to read. Basically, the concept was simple, and that is that the Montreal Canadiens are a counter-punching team. That's how they play. Any team that counter punches, any boxer that counter punches needs to warm up with their opposition, learn their rhythm, understand what they're doing before they can actually master the counter punch. They lost game one to Vegas 4-1. They hadn't seen Vegas all year. Then after they watched Vegas beat them 4-1, as the counter punchers do, they made adjustments and they came back and won the next game. Game 1 was a terrible spot for Montreal. They had not seen Tampa Bay all year. It is impossible to allow a team to skate around in circles and circles, shoot from outside, carry the puck, dominate puck possession, dominate offensive zone, and counterpunch correctly first game. So I expected Tampa Bay to demolish Montreal in the first game, as I expect Montreal to make adjustments and come back fighting much stronger in game 2. So that was sort of how I handicapped game 1. And it's sort of how I'm seeing this series, is that ultimately with Montreal, similar to New York Islanders, they're going to weather the storm and hope they can get their quick breakouts off of shots that hit shin pads, or rebound off goalies, or miss the net and come around. And that's how Montreal plays. I expect a much better effort from them tonight. And honestly, Andrew, it's hard not to cheer for this team, no matter how much you hate this Montreal Canadian team. I mean, Cole Caulfield's electric smile, and all the guys on the team, just everyone working so hard. It looks like they're having so much fun. And of course, you want Carey Price to retire with a Stanley Cup. He deserves one. So yeah, that's sort of my take on game 1 and what it actually means for game 2.
I really do agree with a lot of things that you just said, most of it actually, and I think that one of the biggest things that I thought would be an issue, Prez, but I didn't think it was going to be as big of an issue, I think, was the moment. I think that a lot of people think that you can't be a player in the NHL, or a professional athlete can't be quote for quote nervous for a game. Maybe it's not the term nerves, but maybe it's, you just beat Vegas. Nobody thought you beat Vegas. You swept the Jets. Everybody had the Jets in 5. You come back after being down 3-1 against the Leafs. All of a sudden, you're in the Stanley Cup Finals. You start doing things that you don't normally do. And, it starts off with a warm-up. I mean, they're tripping over pucks. Shea Weber hit Carey Price in the head. From the start of that whole warm-up, the Canadiens just didn't seem right. They were turning the puck over. They didn't seem like themselves, and it was definitely not a good spot for them, like you said. Congratulations on the winner there. And number 2, one thing I had to mention as well was coaching adjustments. The Montreal Canadiens have done a good job of making coaching adjustments, like you've said, but John Cooper outcoached Luke Richardson in game 1. And you're supposed to do that when you're the home coach, because you get the last change. And they exposed the Nick Suzuki, Tyler Toffoli, and Cole Caulfield line. That line was responsible for a few of the goals because they got caught carrying the puck in and not being a dump and chase type of team. I would say that line is one of the only lines on that whole team that probably, and I don't have any stats to back this up, but I would say they average the least amount of dump-ins because of the skill and the speed and the chemistry they have, and they're young. But Montreal, there's 2 types of teams in hockey. You're either a dump and chase team, or you're a carry the puck in type of team. And Montreal is a clear-cut dump and chase team. They need to establish possession in the offensive zone, and they didn't really do that at all. And hats off to the powerful defensemen of the Tampa Bay Lightning. But you talk about counterpunching, Prez. Well, Tampa Bay, they scored 2 of their goals off counterpunching themselves. Getting turnovers from Caulfield and Suzuki, going the other way and scoring. So I'm really interested to see. I mean, it definitely was a horrible game for the Canadiens, and the Lightning, man, their chemistry, guys, is crazy. Like, it's just unbelievable. You feel like you're watching an all-star game when you watch them.
Andrew, when you mentioned that Tampa Bay got a couple of their goals off of a turnover as a counterpunching team, I wrote in my analysis as well that this Tampa Bay team is probably the only team in the league that can play the old style dump and chase hockey better than anybody else in the league. And they could play the new style cycle puck possession in the top 3 to 5 teams in the league. They can play, they could beat Florida 5-4, or they could beat the New York Islanders 1-0. They could beat dump and chase teams. They can beat puck possession teams. it makes no difference to those guys. And man, their power play, Andrew, very rare. You have Kucherov on the right, Stamkos on the left. I mean, they literally have Ovechkin on both sides of the ice. How do
Yeah.
you cover that? I mean,
There was one thing
you
I
know, the
saw that was
lead.
kind of interesting, though, Prez. It was Kucherov had 27 points on the playoffs, and only 13 of those points were in even strength action. So that was pretty
Yeah.
interesting. If you can keep those guys out of the penalty box.
Well,
Let's
that
bring in
power
Carm
play
on.
was. Sorry, Carm.
Sorry, just
No,
trying
no,
to bring
go
in
ahead.
Carm.
Finish.
Yeah, go ahead, Prez.
No, no. Listen, I'm enjoying listening to you guys. I'll get my stuff in, but it's rare that we get Prez on. Especially during the Cup. We're only getting here once a week, so I want to hear his take. He's been around a long time and he had a fantastic season. So let's get his take. Keep him going.
Well, I mean, I just I don't know what to tell you. Can I just promote before we get into this game?
Well,
Go
how
ahead.
about I'll promote you, Prez. You are been on a
Okay.
monster MLB run, an unbelievable MLB run. And one thing I will say about you, Prez, and this isn't a marketing thing, this isn't a sales thing. Prez is transparent as it gets. You'll go on Wager Talk today, every single day, the show that you host. You'll tell Teddy whatever if you're running hot, if you're running ice cold, if baseball is bad, if baseball is good, NBA is bad, it's good. I have tons of respect for that. I know I'm only a few years a part of this company, Prez, but I really do respect that a lot because when you're on the run that you're on now in the MLB, it looks a hell of a lot better because you are telling people it's not going the best right now. And now you are zoned in, you have figured it out,
Yeah.
you are on an amazing run, and you have 5% play. And I recommend everybody go check that out at wt.buzz/PZ or PZ for all of us Canadians. Check out Prez's 5% play tonight. How many in a row, Prez? 10?
This will be. I've had 9 baseball winners in a row. My 10th is today. It's my first 5% play of the season. So guys, please get that. And I did not go 4-0 in the penalty box segment yesterday. I went 3-1. The over in the San Diego Padres game did not hit, which quite blew my mind, given that they were at the number with many innings to go. But thank you for pointing that out. And yeah, Andrew, look, I am very transparent. I'm also on a 17-5 all sports run across the board. So, I'm totally in the zone. And I absolutely love my baseball play tonight. I wish I had something on the basketball game, but man, the basketball is tough right now, although I am on a 7-2 run in that. But a tough sport. Tough series is that's for sure. Anyway, let's get into the game. I want to hear Carm's thoughts on this game. I think me and him might be having differing opinions.
Yeah, I think. Well, Andrew, give us the odds.
There they are on the screen right now. Canadiens plus 170, Lightning minus 200. The puck line, interesting today, minus 1.5 is plus 125. The Canadiens on the plus 1.5, minus 145. Total sits at 5. And Carm, like you mentioned, I'll give you a little segue here. That total, it was up and down. I mean, it was kind of questionable whether it was going to go over or under. And like you said, some of those goals at the end might not have indicated how the game went. And I've been saying this on the show for a little while now, but I really mean it in the playoffs, and lots of trusted people that I see agree with this. The final score of a game doesn't indicate what's going to happen the next game. Tampa Bay won 8-0 in a game and lost the next day. In playoffs, I don't think what the scoreboard reads really matters for the next game. It could be, like you said, 8-0. Like I said, 8-0 is pretty much the best example. Tampa Bay wins. Next day, they lose. But Carmine, does it matter to you what the final score was in the
Is it
previous
just
game?
me?
No, absolutely it doesn't. And I will say this: you guys have heard what I've said about the Canadiens, especially against the Vegas Golden Knights, about the lack of respect and how well the team was playing. And if you go back to Monday's show, I talked about the first period. I didn't want to touch that first period over, but I liked the game over because I wasn't sure we get the goals in the first period, but we get them throughout the game. It's because it's kind of the way I thought the game would go. I thought, much like what Prez said, it was likely going to be a bad spot for Montreal. First game at home, Tampa Bay in front of whatever it was, 15,000 fans. Vasilevsky just playing extremely well. He's 7-3 now at home in the playoffs, 18-2 during the regular season. That's a pretty damn good record. A series with two very good goalies, but I just thought we'd see some goals. I thought Tampa would do what they did. Now, will they do it in game two? As far as the line is, when we had the lineup on the screen, that's the books reacting and the market reacting to where it should be, because they know Tampa Bay money is going to come in. So you've got to price Tampa Bay at just about the exact same price as what you had them at, which is minus 200 in that first game. I think they were like minus 190. They opened and probably closed at about minus 200. So it's the exact same thing, exact same total. And it's because you're going to get Tampa money. You're still going to, it's going to balance out. We're not going to see much movement in the line. You're still going to get people taking Montreal as what they feel is a live dog if they make the adjustments. Andrew, myself, I just don't know. It's whether they get the adjustments they make is enough. They can't pick up those penalties. The thing is, they're going to have to get shots on goal. 5 shots in the first, 5 shots in the third period. You're not getting off to a good start when you only get 5 shots, and that's what the Canadiens did to Vegas. The games where you expected Vegas to come out and put in a good first period, they were held to 4 shots by Montreal. They did a great job of stifling that offense that Vegas has. Can they make that adjustment here? I don't know. We'll have to see. And in the third period, where they needed something, a spark, anything, they still only got 5 shots on goal. And that's just Tampa playing their game. With that said, this is as big a game, I think, right now as you're going to get, because you don't want to fall behind if you're a Canadian player 2-0 to Tampa Bay and have to win 4 out of 5 games. This is a Tampa team that, and especially with Vasilevsky, that just don't lose 2 games in a row. They're 13-0 Vasilevsky off a loss the last 2 playoff seasons. So it's going to be very tough to beat them 4 out of 5 games. It's a big game. And then game 3 all of a sudden becomes a new big game. So, with that said, Andrew, I'm leaning to goals here again. I think we're going to see them. We'll see what adjustments Montreal makes. But I still think that unlike series past, and I talked about the Tampa Bay series against, I kept taking unders against the Islanders, and I kept taking unders in the Montreal Vegas one, and there was just a lot of pushes and a couple of wins there. I'm going to look at overs in this series until something shows me that that this is an under series. I'm going to go to over and over 5 here.
Good stuff, Carmen. Like you said, it's one of those things where even though it's 2 really talented goaltenders, the old-fashioned saying that they always say, especially in football, we're betting numbers here, not exactly always just the teams. And getting a 5 here, in the Stanley Cup final, you can expect a defensive battle all you want, but still getting 5. We've listed it all year long, the statistics towards these totals with 5. At worst, it seems like a lot of the times you are just getting a push. Obviously, the goal is to win, but it seems on the season, the numbers have proven that we're getting a push more than we're actually getting a loss. But it's very interesting as we approach the total look in this game, because I kind of have a theory that I believe this game will start off slow and then pick up. That's kind of the way I'm looking in this game, and it potentially could go under, could go over, but I'll be looking for an in-game spot towards the over. Most books offer these, but I'm looking at like a second period over. I know a few people that were on that in the last game, and I actually was really, really interested seeing them bet that, because when you look at it, it's like Prez said, when you start out a series, you're feeling things out. It's like a boxer in round 1. You're just kind of figuring out what the other guy is going to do. And to Prez's point about Montreal, they're here for a reason, but they're here because of smart decisions and good coaching and playing as a team. And they didn't figure out how to do that against the Tampa Bay Lightning for a while. And we'll see if they have figured it out again. But I believe we will see a low-scoring first period, kind of a slow start to the game. Then it will pick up. If I can get a live over 4.5, I'll be pouncing all over that. and trying to cash it with even just a 3-2 score. So I think the line matchups will be really important in this game. And like I said, the team at home gets the last change, obviously. So John Cooper will have the, he'll have the reins as far as who he wants to put out there. But the problem is, Philip Deneau did a great job against the top guys for, the Knights. Mark Stone didn't get a goal. The Jets, we didn't see their top guys really score. And Deneau held Matthews off the board. He only had one goal against the Leafs. So, I mean, when you look at the matchups and you couldn't see him on the ice against Point and Kucherov, that's a problem. Nick Suzuki's a great two-way forward, but when you have him and Cole Caulfield on the ice against Point, Kucherov, and Stammer, that's not the best idea. I think that you have youth and rookies and younger guys in the playoffs against those guys. It's kind of a recipe for disaster. So I'll be curious if they change the lines up. Prez, I think they stay true to their lines and just try and get better changes. But does any part of you think the Montreal will mix the lines up as far as defensive responsibilities?
Andrew, I think it's unlikely we're going to see a major mix. Luke Richardson might tweak a little bit throughout the game if they're going to double shift somebody like Deneau. But look, I think Montreal is going to have a hard time getting that Deneau line on Stamkos's line ignite. Last change is a big deal. But I want to break down this game from my perspective because I heard Carmine talk about how he sees goals, etc. And you said, slow start, maybe look to that over 4.5 if you can get it in game. Here's really my take on this game, and this is a bet that I'm making, so I'm telling everyone now. I like the under in this game, and I'm going to tell you why from my perspective. First off, Montreal's gone either under the total or pushed on 5, literally almost every single game this playoffs. There have been a few overs along the way, but on a whole, we're looking at not a 50-50 split. We're looking at probably an 80-20 split to the under on Montreal games. So that's number one. Number two, if you look at Tampa Bay, every game so far this playoff that has gone over, the next game was a very low-scoring game. You talk about that 8-0 win, next game, under. Game after that, under as well. Both teams have, we're talking about maybe the number 1 and 2 goaltenders in the league. Defensive core on both teams, ridiculous. But most importantly, Andrew, this is a literally, I don't want to say a must-win, but this is as close to a must-win game as Montreal is going to play. They're going to really struggle to make a comeback down 2-0 against a team that doesn't lose 2 games in a row. They have to win tonight. And for them to win, they have to keep Tampa Bay off the scoreboard. They are not going out there and beating Tampa Bay 5-4 tonight, nor 4-3. This is a team that is going to have made the adjustments. Most of those adjustments will be from a defensive perspective. And the thing about it is, we could say to ourselves, really, how's anyone going to keep a team with Hedman and Kucherov and Point and Stamkos and Cirelli and I mean, on and on and on and on, Maroon, the whole team. There's nobody on that team that can't score. How does a team keep Tampa Bay down? Well, Tampa Bay keeps themselves down. They put up 1 spots against the New York Islanders. There were games against Florida that they did not put up a whole lot of goals. Tampa Bay is not a goal-scoring juggernaut. Tampa Bay was not the number 1 goal-scoring team in hockey this year. Tampa Bay is not the number 1 goal-scoring team, period. I mean, you look at this, 1-0 against the New York Islanders, 3-2, they only put up a 2-spot. Tampa Bay put up a 2-spot 3 times against the Islanders and 1 goal 1 time against the Islanders. That's 4 games, 2 goals or less. There is a way to shut this team down. Montreal has to find that way. The only way Montreal wins this game is if it is an under. I don't necessarily think Montreal is going to win this game, but they're going to play to win it, which means under the total of 5. That's what I'm doing in this game.
Yeah, listen, Prez, I'm going to rebuttal to that if you don't mind. I
Of
get
course
it.
you are,
What
Carm.
you're, yeah. Well, it's what I do. It's why we love each other. You're a great guy. But you're
It's
talking
your
about,
persona, Carm, on the
you're
show.
talking about these goals against. Yeah, keep flexing away. You work out, so you can do it. I
We all
watched
can do it.
15 of those Jillian Michaels videos, and it did nothing for me. Maybe next time I'll actually work out to them instead of just watch them. With that said, listen, I get what
I
you're
think
talking
you're
about, but
working
they're
on it in
playing.
a different way, Carm.
No. I'm just eating popcorn and watching them on TV. But you're talking about them, playing the Islanders and scoring a goal, or Carolina and scoring 2. I get it, and a lot of those were road games. Look at what they've done at home in playing these games against Florida, 5-6-4,
Yeah.
6-6 and 2 against Carolina. 1 goal scored twice against the Islanders, but 4, 8, and 5. Essentially, only 2 games where they were held to a goal at home, and 1 game where they held to 2. And we're talking about what, 3, 5, 10 games, 10 games. And in 7 of those 10 games, they scored 4 or more goals at home. This team does something different in the playoffs. They score goals at home. It, this is why I love the over in this game. If this was being played in Montreal, I take everything you said and I regurgitate and say the exact same thing. But in this instance here, unless Montreal can make drastic changes that change the way game 1 went, we might see a replay of game 1 in game 2.
Yeah, look, Karma, those are great points, man, and it really goes to show how important last change is, because if Tampa Bay is scoring 4 goals or more at home and scoring 2 goals or less on the road, that means that you stop the Kucherov line, you stop Tampa Bay, and ultimately that's what we're going to be watching tonight.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that, let's not forget this Tampa Bay team. They don't just have, 1 or 2 defensemen either. They have every one of their defensemen means business. They have done an outstanding job. And I am the last person to be sitting here. And I hate hearing people talk about the salary cap and the fact that they're over the salary cap, because although they had their best player was healthy for a month and they didn't play him, it doesn't matter because they won and got to this point. They still have an outstanding team from the top line to the bottom line. Great defensemen all around. I'm just curious to see what this bounce back will look like. And I know Carmine mentioned that Montreal didn't have that many shots in this period or that period or that period. But if you take a look at, period 1, the shots they did have, and you can't always look at even just shots. I've been talking about this for a long time. Shots don't really matter as much as the actual Corsi numbers and kind of the home plate stats. Where did you have an opportunity to shoot the puck, or where were you in there? And in the first period, they didn't get dominated, but throughout the late part of the second and the third period, it was all Tampa Bay. So I'm curious to see what happens there. But Montreal needs to score first. If they're going to be successful, they have to score the first goal. They can't get down to the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're just a different team when they score the first goal. Before we get to some more promos and some best bets from you guys, I do want to ask you, and I'm going to start with you, Carm, because I've asked you before, but I'm curious what you think about it. In this series, when you get Montreal as an underdog, you're getting a great price. If we can pull up the odds, guys, for Montreal and the game tonight, the puck line is -145. The plus 1.5 at -145. I'm the kind of person and handicapper that I always say that why in baseball are people giving out plus 1.5s and laying juice when a decent percent of the time they're going to win that bet outright and get a plus money win? Or if you lose it, you're just losing, the 1 unit, not 1.25 units. In the playoffs, I think that it's a really good idea to do that in hockey, though. I will never, ever bet a plus 1.5 in the NHL in the regular season. But in the playoffs, I might look at it with how close these games are. Would you look at it if you're looking to bet Montreal, or would you advise people to just bet them on the money line if they like them?
It's going to sound weird, Andrew. I think you can make a case for both. If you think Montreal stays within a goal and a half of this game, then there's a very good chance that they could win the game outright. And you take that plus 170 number there, and then by the same circumstances, you can say to yourself, I think they're going to keep it close enough. And if this game goes to overtime, I've already cashed my ticket. And then you just become a fan of the team as opposed to a fan of your bet. So there's the two ways to look at it as far as that goes.
Prez, we don't often get good prices on these bets. What do you think about them?
Yeah. So, I mean, look, for me, Andrew, in that situation, I would recommend to somebody to divide the bet into two, put half their bet on the plus 1.5 and half their bet on the money line. But listen, I think somewhere around 36% of games this playoffs have gone to overtime. So I think the plus 1.5s, if you're not paying a lot of juice, are great bets. So I'm with you. It makes a lot of sense to me, dude.
I've even looked at some of the first period plus a half, but then you start laying so much juice, it gets a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like 190 or something.
Yeah, it's like 170 or 180, something like that. So I can't do that for tonight. And the first period, what's great about it is if you get the tie, it's just a push. And Prez, I know you're not the biggest fan of the first period wagers, but I feel like they work for the Canadiens because if you think they're going to win the game, they sure as hell better have a good first period. If they have a bad first period, they're not going to win the game. So I think it kind of correlates with the Montreal Canadiens. But let's jump into some promos here for tonight. As far as the prop markets goes, I'm kind of off it for tonight. I may tweet out some picks later on this afternoon. But I'm also joining John Ryan. Carmen and I are joining John Ryan on his show at 12 o'clock Eastern.
Nice.
So check us out on that. We'll be looking forward to breaking down some hockey and talking with him for the first time. But Prez, let's go to you. Obviously, a big play tonight. You have a few packages up. What's going on in your life?
Well, as we spoke about, I'm on a 17-5 all sports run. I'm on a 9-0 baseball run. My 5% plays. I won my 5% on Monday. I'm on a 21-8 5% run. Everybody knows these numbers are true and correct. And I have my first 5% play tonight in baseball. My first 5% play of the season. So head over to WagerTalk.com. Check that out. Also, check out Wager Talk today with Teddy and I in 22 minutes. We've got Tony Mejia and Tokyo Brandon joining us, plus, of course, Arthur DeCesar. That's really it for me, dude.
Prez, just remember, I want you to do me a favor and just remember the first handicapper was a part of your company. That's all I want. That's all I'm asking.
I didn't even hear
crushing it.
Say that again.
Tokyo Brandon is absolutely crushing it. I just ask you a favor to remember who the first KBO handicapper was, a part of Wager Talk. Just don't forget who started the KBO stuff here at Wager Talk. All right, I just don't want you to forget that when there were no sports going on. No, I'm not insecure at all. I just don't want you to forget. I know you're getting old on me. I know you had a birthday recently.
It sounds like you're insecure. I mean, that would literally be what an insecure person would say, but that's okay.
Andrew, I got to tell you this, Andrew. You got to listen to this one. All right. So obviously, I celebrate
don't know where
my
that
birthday
came from. I'm just making a joke.
Andrew,
I know,
Andrew,
dude, and I'm not letting you off the hook. Go ahead, Tom.
All right. So I'm keep talking. I'm going to refresh my.
Yeah, Carm's getting blurry on us here, Prez. He's I don't know what kind of Wi-Fi he has, but you gotta tell him about the one you're using.
So
go ahead, Carm.
So here's the thing. Sunday was my birthday, right? And I didn't hear from Prez. Prez always calls me, Prez or Vivian or whatever, right? So I didn't hear from him, but I didn't even think anything of it. I had a low-key day at home. Monday comes, and it's pretty much the same thing. And I was on Wager Talk today. I'm like, surprised Prez didn't even mention it there. Tuesday, I get a call from Prez, and he's like, oh my God. And he's got Vivian on the phone too. We missed your birthday. And he's apologizing and whatever. And he goes, listen, Viv and I got you something, and we're going to come by. And then about 2 hours later, Prez goes, hey, Vivi and I got you something. He calls again. I got you something. But are you really going to make us drive in this horrible weather?
It was pouring rain.
I'm like, dude, first of all, I told you a phone call was more than enough. You don't need to get me anything. And you don't need to come over. I'll come and visit you and go for a dip in the pool with my wife and stuff. But it was the funniest thing that he actually guilted me after calling me. So God bless him.
Yeah,
I
I
you know
think my
what,
girlfriend
Carm?
had a. Sorry, Prez.
I just want to say that missing your birthday did actually affect me, dude. I mean, I miss everybody's birthday, so I didn't feel that out of whack. But given the generosity and kindness of you, you don't deserve to have anyone miss your birthday. So I am
It it
deeply sorry.
it's all good,
You
and
bet,
you'll
Prez.
just
You better be sorry, man. You better be
Oh,
you'll
sorry.
shut
just
up.
Jeez,
you'll
Shut
just
I
up,
hope that gift
McGinnis.
was a good gift. And
and,
my birthday's on Tuesday. My girlfriend apparently had a bunch of stuff planned, and I just dropped yesterday on her. I'm going to Montreal, so I
Any
won't even be with
chance we
anybody.
can end this show soon?
yeah.
Give
Well,
us a
let's do our
best
show
bet,
best
Prez.
bets and promos.
We need your best bet,
My
Prez.
best,
And I'm going
my
to go to
best
Carm.
bet. My best bet is the under in tonight's game. And also, anyone out there who follows Tokyo Brandon, don't forget that Andrew was the first KBO person on the website. It's very important to him that you know that. Write it down. Keep that in mind. And Tokyo, I know you're listening to the show. You are literally just a copycat to Andrew, who started this entire KBO handicapping program. We owe you a great amount
Brandon, if you
of
are
thanks,
watching
man.
this, you are absolutely crushing it. It's all in good fun. I'm just joking around, but I had a blast handicapping it, and I've been back actually betting it lightly again. I think it's a great league to bet on. I'll be real quick with this. My best bet is going to be the second period over 1.5 minus 120, 125. I keep on bringing up these unique wagers, but it's time for me to be that cranky old guy and say, hey, look, if you can't bet this, shop around, because most books do offer this second period over 1.5 minus 130. Take a look at it. Second period should see some scoring. As far as today, looking at a play in the NBA, but baseball, I'll have a few plays up in baseball. Number 2 in baseball action in the last 365 days, behind Mr. Dave Koken, but number 2 in 365 days. I'll take that any day. Carm, let's go to you for your best bet and what's going on for you today.
Yeah, I love the stuff you guys are saying here. It's like the Brandon Tokyo Brandon love affair show, but you got to give the guy credit. He kills it, and those plays are at night. It's kind of like the Tooth Fairy. Put that tooth under the pillow, wake up in the morning, and there's cash there. So that's what it is with his plays. Just play him, go to sleep. He's absolutely killing it. But I'm also going to use that originator stuff when I do stoppage time tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Guys, we're going to talk about the Euro games. I'm going to tell Nick and Pavlos and Kevin Dolan, hey guys, I started soccer at WagerTalk. Johnny Detroit tells me, I love Johnny Detroit. The guy is absolutely awesome.
I got to jump in
Awesome
here.
card.
I'm sorry, Carm.
We got to wrap.
I know
Joe
you,
is going to kill us if we don't wrap this show up.
I
We have
know
to wrap this up.
I know Carm started soccer at WagerTalk, and I know, Andrew, you started the KBO at WagerTalk. I started
Yes.
WagerTalk.
A good WagerTalk.
Bye.
Okay, that
He's
that
always
was
got to
actually
get
pretty
something.
smooth.
All right.
That was pretty
And he's
smooth.
leaving too. Anyways, with that said, I'm really happy that the Prez's show best bet is the under, because I am taking the over in the game, as I talked about earlier. So one of us is going to win. My thoughts and prayers go out to the people who take his under and their money. Over is the play here. Guys, I have a coupon code CB50. You can get a 7-day all access for $69. That's normally $119. This is going to cover every single play, guys, for the next 7 days. There's a ton of soccer quarterfinal games in the Euros, the NHL game tonight, the NHL games that go on Friday, and then on Monday again, some semifinal action in Euros, some baseball. There's just a ton of plays already loaded, including Copa America. And we've seen some crazy games thus far. So let's just keep it going. Let's get some winners out there. Grab that, head over to wagertalk.com. Take advantage of that deal. It's a very good one. With that said, guys, I'm looking forward to the John Ryan show. Best of luck to you guys in the chat. Smash that like button, please. And Andrew, back to you.
CB50, right, Carm? That's the coupon code for you, CB50.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys check that out. Use that coupon code on Carmine. We got to wrap this show up. On behalf of Carmine and The Prez, I am Andrew. Always a fun show having The Prez on. We'll see you guys on Friday. Go Habs, go, guys. See you later.
Later.
With the WagerTalk one-day Power Pass, you receive every play from every betting consultant for 1 day at the ridiculously discounted price of just $1.99. What's better than 1 day of great games? Watching, following, and winning those games. Get your sportsbook edge with the entire WagerTalk team of handicappers with this one-day Power Pass, every WagerTalk expert in every game they release for just 1 day. Your WagerTalk one-day Power Pass is right here, and it's yours for just $1.99.